Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk, back again with you guys for another episode of what is the Arsenal Transfer Show. On a big day in the world of Arsenal's summer window, Arsenal, of course, have been trying very hard to get their priority target across the line. And we got some news to talk about this morning that is of the very positive variety. Good morning to those joining us live in the chat box. As always, very much appreciated. Black Shine, Morgie Machiavelli, Justin, James, Ginger Gooner, Popeye, Chris. We've got Johnny Ray, Tom, Anfield, Marcus, NSW, Scouse Gooner, Stephen, Robin, Masibulele. We've got Barry, Olawale, Thomas, Dave, Stuart, and plenty more of you guys as well. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. It is certainly, of all mornings, more appreciated today than perhaps any other than Sundays. Sundays are reserved for those most dedicated amongst us. Good morning, though, and I hope that you are indeed doing very good and you've had a fantastic start to your weeks. We are the midway point, hump day, but there is nothing to get the hump about today whatsoever as we crack on with today's stories. Let's first of all starts with the official news of Alessia Russo signing for Arsenal, announced in one of the most imaginative and one of my favourite announcement videos. I've said at the start of the window, I want to see more imagination from these announcement videos. Some have been a bit bland, but this was not. This was a fantastic circular camera motion. I mean, for me, someone who really likes filming and stuff like that, it was, just seeing the editing of it all, the camera work. It was a fantastic announcement video. And we've got our own Lionel Messi, if you like, who hopefully is going to be absolutely fantastic next season for us, in combination with the likes of Beth Mead and Viv Miedema, and as I mentioned, Lacasse, who's now signed as well. Arsenal have got a hell of an attacking lineup. And Jonas Ardeval is going to be overjoyed with the options. And I don't think Arsenal are done with the women's team. I think there's more signings to be made and more strengthening to be done. So let's wait and see what happens. But a massive, massive piece of news for Arsenal. Alessia Russo is a Gooner, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how she gets on for Arsenal next season. Now, moving to the return of the senior men's training. Tomiyasu, William Saliba, and of course, Gabriel Martinelli have all now returned to training, which is fantastic news. Of course, Tomiyasu suffered a serious knee injury, of which he needed surgery to recover from in the game against Sporting in the Europa League. And there were worries, suggestions that he might not be back for pre-season training, but he is indeed back. How easily he is going to be involved in things, we don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see if he makes the squad against the German side Nuremberg when we travel to Germany next week. Fingers crossed that is going to be the case. William Saliba, of course, out on the field with the ball. Great news. He's had that back issue at the end of last season. Let's hope, fingers crossed, that he too has kind of overcome that problem also. And Gabriel Martinelli suffered that ankle issue in the challenge with Moises Caicedo against Brighton toward the end of last season as well. Ruled him out of the last couple of games for Arsenal. Really damaging injury it was to Arsenal's end of the season it was. But he is back at training, and hopefully they'll all be ready for the brand new season in what is another piece of fantastic news for the club as well. So really, really good stuff indeed. Folarin Balogun, according to the Beautiful Game podcast, tweeting yesterday that Brighton and Palace, amongst other European clubs, are chasing the striker, who is valued between 40 and 50 million pounds. Arsenal will be looking to get a very good price for Folarin Balogun if he indeed is to move on from the club this summer. He, like others, are due back very soon after taking part in international football in the Nations League for CONCACAF for the United States. But hopefully we see some resolution to this saga, some kind of an end product to this campaign and this, what we've had to kind of deal with, the uncertainty of it all, the question marks. But what we are doing is keeping our fingers crossed that Balogun, and whatever happens with him, either is really positive for a financial thing for Arsenal, or indeed a significant fee. If he is to move to Brighton, I don't know about you, but I'd like to just say, well, we want £100 million, Brighton, and he's not for sale unless you pay that 100 million. I think that's what we need to do if Brighton are the team that indeed do end up coming in for the player. I think just payback is a dish best served cold. So let's see if that indeed does end up happening. According to Charles Watts, Arsenal are set for talks with Arsenal. Arsenal are set for talks with Arsenal, apparently. I'm sure that they are going to talk amongst themselves. But what they are going to talk about is Thomas Partey, who is returning to the club as well after taking part in international duty with Ghana, of course, also. Those talks are set to discuss his future. We will find out what will happen with Thomas Partey's future regarding whether or not he's going to be at the club or whether he's going to be allowed to leave to sign for the likes of Juventus or whether he's going to sign for the likes of Saudi Arabian side. We'll have to wait and see. But Thomas Partey and his future is obviously a big part of the agenda at the club, and we certainly need a resolution for this very soon, and need to basically work on if a replacement is needed. And if that is indeed the case, it'll be because Partey has exited. It does seem that this is still very much up in the air. We don't know necessarily what the outcome of this story is going to be, but continual reports suggest that there are serious links with an exit and that Arsenal are seriously considering letting him go. So let's wait and see if that turns out to be the case. But that is all build-up. That is all happenstance. Because the biggest news of the summer, the most important news of Arsenal's window, has been confirmed. Declan Rice to Arsenal is a done deal. Agreed and ready to be signed. Declan Rice will undergo a medical on Friday, and the deal will be completed and the player will be announced. Now, this, I know, is something that we have talked about for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. It was getting closer than close, infinitesimally small close to being done. At one point, it was done, and then it was so close it felt like it was done, but it wasn't done. And the words, the synonyms, the different formation of a chronology of wording, of tweets, could not be so different that in the end, they've just had to go and announce it, that this deal is going to happen, and that the medical on Friday, followed by the media and then the announcement, will confirm the 105 million pound. We nearly got that monologue done without any issues. The 105 million pound deal to sign Declan Rice, Arsenal's most expensive player ever, the most expensive English player ever, and the biggest step forwards in the evolution of Arsenal's recruitment strategy, and a symbol of what is to come at this football club as they try to close the gap with Manchester City, a team that they beat to the signing of Declan Rice, a signing that is certainly to make significant waves in terms of what Arsenal do next season. The pressure is on now. The pressure is on Rice. The pressure is on the club to get Rice integrated, to find out what his best role will be, to level him up as a player and to extract every single part of that talent. And if you want to find out more about Declan Rice, we've got a very special tactical breakdown that is already out, if you did not know already. Jacob Steinberg, the football reporter for The Guardian, was across the deal from start to finish and was one of the key journalists involved in reporting on this story, and has covered West Ham in detail, is very close to the club, and has watched Declan Rice for several years, from breaking through, the West Ham youth side after signing from Chelsea, to playing and watching him for England, and of course for the West Ham senior side as well. And if you've not yet been able to watch that, I implore you, I encourage you, I tell you to go and watch that show. It's a very good conversation. Apologies for the slight audio issue in the first 6 seconds. StreamYard really screwed me over. But a massive thank you again to Jacob Steinberg for coming on to the show. It was a special player, and so I thought we have to get a special guest. And yes, I know it's taken time to get this tactical breakdown out. There was always part of me that thought, I've kind of got to wait until it's nearly there, because I don't want the heartbreak of doing a big special tactical breakdown on a player for it then not to happen. And I wanted to make sure that I got you the very best potential guest to talk about the player as well. And I feel that we've done that with Jacob. So whilst Arsenal are pulling off some fantastic deals, I think you can see that Arsenal The Gooner Talk is managing to secure some fantastic guests to give you the insight that you need on these players. So please, I encourage you to go and watch it and catch up and find out everything that you need to know. For those that still have their doubts about the player, hopefully it quells those doubts and you'll find out from someone who's watched plenty of this player, of plenty of Declan Rice, what exactly he's all about. So that is available as the last upload on the channel. I recommend going and watching it after you finished today's show. Right then, let's go to part 2 of the show and your questions right after this. I want to say, of course, a massive thank you to everybody that's continued to help the Macmillan Longest Day Golf Challenge. We smashed through our target yesterday. £1,100 has now been raised in what is continuing to be an incredible effort by everybody that is getting involved with this. But thank you to everyone that continues to donate. Steve Stone, Steve Edwards, Ed, John, thank you ever so much, all of you, for your very kind donations. They mean so much. If you are based outside of the UK and you have found it difficult to donate and you still want to, you can do so by getting in touch with me directly. If you go through my DMs at the Gooner Talk TV, at Tom Cantor Media, or on Instagram at the Gooner Talk, and you want to be part of this and want to be part of supporting what is a great cause in memory of our very good friend Vinny Eagle, who I know would be absolutely buzzing knowing that Declan Rice is signing as a brand new Arsenal player. He wouldn't be so buzzing that Granit Xhaka has left mind, as he was, of course, his bodyguard. But I think that after last season, Vinny would have been very proud of what Xhaka achieved, and that the man that is going to be succeeding Granit Xhaka, taking on the mantle of a leadership role in the midfield, is indeed Declan Rice. So if you'd like to help our cause and support us as we take on 72 holes of golf in one day, it's quite the challenge, then please do get in touch. Link it down in the description for those of you that are based in the UK. Right, let's go into the chat box and get some of your thoughts. Jean says, saw the announcement of Alessia Russo at YouTube. The amount of subtle negative comments about the women's football and Russo makes me frustrated. How can we reduce these negative comments? Jean, it's a really fantastic question that you've asked. I'm glad that you've asked the question. I've had people leave comments on my videos saying that they don't want me to talk about women's football. Frankly, they can go and get in the bin for all I care. You know, they can go and do one. That's how I tackle it. I just block and move on. I think some people are ultimately beyond help. I think some people are never going to accept the fact that women's football is a big part of Arsenal Football Club. It's just the way that it is, unfortunately. And for me, those people, you know, as I've said before, I think if you only want to support 50% of the club, if you're only caring about 50% of the club, then you're not going to be as much of a fan as someone who cares about the whole club. It's as simple as that for me. You know, if you want to limit yourself to 50% of it, that is, you know, you do you. But it's, for me, also the people that are so proactive in their not caring about the women's game that they feel the need to leave comments saying that they don't care, or leaving comments to try and justify why they don't care, or leaving comments to say that I shouldn't be talking about it. You can go and do one. You're not welcome here. It's as simple as that. You know, I don't care if we lose subscribers over it. I don't care if we lose viewers because of it. You know, for me, if you support Arsenal Football Club, you support the whole thing. And we are going to talk about the women's game, and we're going to be discussing the women's game, and we're going to be celebrating what a fantastic signing Alessia Russo is. How can we address it, Jean? As I said before, I think some people are unfortunately beyond that help, which is a shame. But for those that aren't, those that are open-minded, I think us talking about it, I think us continuing to cover it, I think us continuing to highlight the success and the growth of the sport in the women's game is going to be really, really important. There are certainly flag bearers like Tim Stillman, for instance, who does a fantastic job for Arsblog, and of course for the Arsenal Vision podcast in spearheading a lot of the Arsenal women's game. But there are obviously loads of people, loads of podcasts out there that also do plenty to touch on it as well. So please do continue to support and get involved with and learn the women's game. I'm not asking, you know, if time is a problem. I look at this in this way. I cover the men's team as my job. of Arsenal Football Club as my job, and the men's team obviously takes up the huge proportion. The men's side of things takes up the massive portion of what I do, and having the women's side is basically like having an extra. It's like having an extra team to support, because it's a whole other side to the Arsenal side of things, and a whole other sport in some sense, because there's more players to learn, the transfers, the game itself is different. And I understand if people can't watch all of the women's games. I'm not telling you that you have to watch all of that. I'm not telling you that at all. I'm not saying that that's what you have to do. Sometimes the women's games are on at the same time as the men's game. I know it is going to be, obviously, time-wise, a challenge for people. I have complete sympathy for that. I'm not asking you. I'm not saying that you have to watch every single fixture. I'm saying that just show an interest. Just show, if Arsenal are playing Spurs, it's a North London derby, you should care that we win. No matter who we're playing, you should care that we win. But if you don't care at all, I just find that a bit strange, especially when you're so happy and confident to put it out there that you don't care. It's very strange. Let's go. Stephen has come back in the chat box again. Stephen is just a man unchained with his generosity in the chat box, and has already donated another 50 memberships. Of course, when Arsenal do indeed pull off a massive bit of business, Stephen is there to donate an amazing gift, I suppose, to you guys in the chat box. And he is indeed, as our good friend Lee Judges would say, he's done it again. He has done it again, and he has donated another 50. And I would say that Louis as well, Louis Scrivener has also donated a membership as well. So one lucky person has been gifted a membership by Louis. But Stephen as well, thank you so much for your generosity. It is very much appreciated. So Louis and Stephen, thank you for continuing to expand this community. I'll be leaving a brand new link to the Discord server in the community tab as well. So thank you for that. Nicholas says, how do you claim a membership if you aren't fortunate enough to be gifted a membership and you would like to be part of our Discord server? In the coming weeks, I'm going to be making good on my promise about doing members podcasts. So I'm going to be getting involved. It's just been so busy recently, and I'm going on holiday again on Friday. But once I'm back, we're going to be doing our members podcast. So I'm looking forward to bringing that back in. But if you'd like to join up as a member, down in the video description, there is a link tree. Go and click that link tree, and then you'll find a tab which says TGT Discord and membership. So get involved with that. Right, let's go to Daniel says, Tom, did you see that some of the Arsenal player prices were announced for FBL? FBL? FBL. Are there any bargains in mind? Right, let me have a quick jump onto the Fantasy Premier League app. Let's see if there are indeed any bargains to be had. For some reason, it's not showing up for me. I don't know if I can find the Arsenal ones on Twitter. Arsenal FPL. Let's find out any Arsenal prices that might be bargains. I'll tell you what, you might want to pick up Folarin Balogun before his price tag kind of goes up, if indeed. We've got Saka at 8.5 million, Gabriel Jesus at 8 million, Kai Havertz 7.5 million. That's going to be interesting because I think Havertz is a midfielder. He is indeed. So do watch out for Havertz being a midfielder. That could be an interesting one. Zinchenko is a £5 million one as well. Ødegaard is 8.5 so far as well. I'm looking to see if there's any others that are being leaked, but I can't find any more at the moment. But I think Havertz at 7.5 might be an interesting one. So let's wait and see if that indeed does happen. Let's go to Ondavoli says, hey, Tom, any updates on Tchouaméni and links to him? No, sorry. I'd love it to happen, but so far there's nothing concrete in that story at the moment. So, yeah, sorry about that, but so far nothing on that. Jakob says, hi, Tom. With reports from Germany linking us to Henriks and Frimpong, do you think that we need a more offensive right back? Who would be your preferred option? Yes, Jakob, I've mentioned this on the show before. If you've listened throughout the summer, you'll certainly know that I've said that I think that there is a gap at right back for a different style of option for us. So I look forward to seeing if a right back is signed. Henriks, I've done an article on him yesterday that came out looking at him statistically. He comes out really, really well. I'm also going to be doing another piece today where I talk to Drew Thompson, of course, who's a big Bundesliga watcher. And I've had a conversation with him that's going to be going up into an article as well today to find out more about Henrik. So make sure that you do give those a read. The stats piece is already out on football.london. And the other piece, the expert insight, is going to be going out as well. So I look forward to that. Let's go to Masabulele. It says, what is happening at Arsenal from the senior team, women's team to the academy is absolute madness. Can't remember being this excited since the early 2000s. It is a great time to be an Arsenal fan right now, isn't it? It's absolutely fantastic. Let's go to Vakian. Says, what's going on with Reiss Nelson? He seems to be the only one who has not come back apart from those on international duty. It's a good question. It's a really good question. Where is Reiss Nelson? And the answer, I don't have an answer for you. I don't know. I don't know why he's not back. I don't know why he's not been pictured yet. Maybe it's something to do with the fact that he's obviously not yet registered technically. Maybe that has something to do with it. So if indeed this new contract, which was said to have been agreed, there was an understanding that a contract had kind of been verbally agreed. We're just waiting for that to be signed officially. So let's wait and see. William Saliba are, of course, expecting. We're expecting to see an announcement on that as well very soon too. So keep an eye out for that also. Krishna says, do you really believe Arsenal can sign Lavia? I believe they can sign Lavia. Will they sign Lavia is another question. At the moment, I think it very much depends upon Thomas Partey and whether or not he leaves. If he does leave, I think they might move for him. But by the time that he leaves, maybe a club like Liverpool or Chelsea have already signed Lavia and they will need to go for somebody else. But I think they are reacting with the signing of potentially Lavia rather than being proactive. And that's fine. Depends on what happens with Partey. Rob says, how do you claim the membership? It should have just been gifted to you. If you've been given a membership, I think it should just pop up. It should just happen. So if it's not come up, I don't think you've got it. I'm afraid it's done randomly, completely randomly. So if Stephen does gift at 50 memberships, they are just assigned to 50 people who are in the chat box. So there you go. Let's go to. I don't know if that's the right way. Maybe I'm wrong. I've never been in a situation to try and gift it, but maybe some people are just quick on the button and click it. I thought it was done randomly. Maybe you guys will have to tell us and let me know. Charlie says you have to be able to accept gifts apparently on it. So you click the gift and accept for the chat. Oh, I see. So you can actually you have to be quick. I thought it was randomly selected. Apparently you can. But I thought it was random. Oh, it is random. Why am I being confused? Charlie, what are you doing? Why are you confusing me, Charlie? It's a lottery. There you go. So I thought it was completely random. It just kind of is assigned to your Google account in the chat box. So there you go. But apparently you need to allow yourself to receive memberships first. Maybe that's something. Maybe if it doesn't allow it on, maybe it's a location thing. I know some locations around the world don't support membership, but maybe that's the reason. So there you go. Amberly says you have to have gifts enabled beforehand. That's gifts, not gifts. It's two different things. Anyway, let's find some more questions. Amira says, do you expect Rice to keep the number 41? Yes, I think I do. Past players have mentioned that Arsenal reserve big numbers for the academy. Is this why negotiations took so long? No, negotiations took so long because of basically what's it called? The structure of the deal, how it was going to be paid. And I should say, Darren Arsenal also tweeted, if you're not following Darren on Twitter, Darren Arsenal1, talked about how the deal is being structured. Firstly, it was reported by Jacob Steinberger, of course, we had on yesterday for our tactical breakdown show. He announced that it was going to be paid across 2 years in 3 installments. Those 3 installments are set to take place basically across 3 accounting years. So the 23, the 24, and the 25, those accounting years will be the 3 payments. So it's certainly still very good how it's split across those 2 years for Arsenal. It shows up across 3 accounting years. I hope that makes sense. Stephen, thank you so much for the donation. It's very much appreciated as always. And Stephen says, Tom, who do you think will be in the Arsenal squad when they play the MLS All-Stars in the US? Also, do you think Messi will play in the match? I don't think Messi's going to play. I think they've already got a roster that they're looking at. So I'm not sure Messi is involved or not. I might be wrong. He might be drafted in quickly, but I'm not sure that he is involved. Regarding the Arsenal squad, every senior player I expect to be there on the US tour. The only players that you may not see is players, obviously maybe not like Austin Trusty if he's already left, unless he's brought along as well. Nicola Pepe if he's left. Players that could basically leave between now and then. But I actually think we might see Nicola Pepe in an Arsenal shirt over the summer, which is going to be very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Aran says, hi, Tom. What's your thoughts on numbers in general? Or I'm OCD and love my players wearing 1 to 25, like the La Liga rules. 41 is annoying me a bit, but I may just have to get over it. Yeah, you're going to have to get over it. And I mean this with the utmost respect to Aaron. I don't care. I really don't care about the numbers, who wears what number. I'm not that, if it was, maybe I would, the whole England number system is in some ways what it is. But, there are more than 25 players at the club. It's important to remember. And some players have like a special affinity to some numbers as well. So, yeah, that's why they ultimately do it. But I honestly, I don't care. Emmanuel says, Tom, any news on Tchouaméni? Again, no, sorry. No updates regarding whatsoever. Ike Chukwu, thank you so much for becoming a brand new member and, going through the usual process of actually committing to the channel yourself. That's very much kindly appreciated. Thank you and welcome to the community. Let's go to Justin, who says, hey, I'm a Spotify listener, first time joining live on YouTube. Keep up the hard work. Love from Sydney. Thank you, Justin. I hope that you enjoy the adverts on Spotify. If you haven't listened to my ad read on Spotify, I recommend that you go and just listen to it. It took me 3 takes to record that. I think it's pretty good. Jonathan says, Tom, good morning from Uganda. I have family from Uganda, actually, so it's always nice to see people tuning in from Uganda. I just feel I'm sorted and having nothing to do transfer because the pressure is now normal. Yes, we are now big and massive, bro. Come on. Yeah, absolutely. Very, very much appreciate you tuning in, Jonathan. And we are massive. We are absolutely massive indeed. There is, without a shadow of a doubt, no denying what is going on. Let's go to Rob. Says, thanks for clarifying. For the record, I can't understand the displeasure around the women's game. I have a young daughter and I love that she can have her heroes and she can relate to the same gender as well. Absolutely. I think that for the women's young girls, young women around the world, the women's game and the explosion of the women's game, how it's kind of grown as a sport, has inspired so many people. And I think it is so important to not undermine it. And I really don't get the motive behind people that want to do that. It's really odd behavior. It's just what it is. It's really odd behavior, to go to the time, the effort to try and undermine that. It's just really odd. I have so much judgment for it. Nate says he's become a new member as well. Thank you, Nate. Very much appreciate your kind support of the channel. It is very, very much appreciated, and welcome to the TGT family. Jaden says, Tom, if we have Partey, Jorginho and El Neni in the defensive mid position and Rice as a centre mid, who do we need as backup for Rice? It's a good question. I do think that that Rice is going to be the deeper midfielder. I think it is going to be Rice, Havertz, Ødegaard. I think that's what we might see. So for me, that's the structure I think we'll see. Do we need to bring in another midfielder? If Partey leaves, then yes, I would bring in another midfielder. If Partey stays, I don't think we need to. Because I think, as Monkey Berry says there, we are forgetting that Jorginho exists. I think a lot of us forgetting that Jorginho is there, So it's very quickly and easily done. I think Jorginho is a really good asset to us. I think he was a really smart piece of business by Arsenal and will add some fantastic depth to the squad. So without a doubt, I look forward to seeing what this midfield is going to look like next season and how much depth we have. And if Partey leaves, I do think we need one more. We are on just under 400 likes and there is over 2,000 of you watching. If you are watching and you haven't yet pressed that thumbs up button, if you have enjoyed the show, if you are So overjoyed about the signing of Declan Rice. Please make sure that you drop a like on the video. We've been doing this show. I feel like I've been covering this show for about the entirety of my life and yours. So there's a lot of effort goes into making these shows, making sure we do them every single morning. Even when I'm abroad, even when I'm on holiday, we're producing these shows. So please do drop a like on the video if you haven't done so already. Christos says, hey, Tom, don't you think that if Partey and Xhaka both leave, you lose the core of your midfield and new signings are going to take time to adjust? The short answer to that is yes, I do. And I think it's going to be a real challenge to see if there is a significant change in those two midfield positions, what will happen? It's going to be a big, big change. And I am intrigued to see if indeed there are problems or if there is a seamless transition to the Rice-Havertz dynamic that there was for the Partey-Xhaka dynamic. So, yeah, I am intrigued. Am I concerned? A little bit. I'm a little bit concerned about how that overhaul might affect form, about how it might affect the team. Hopefully, pre-season gives us plenty as well. Nate says, what do you have on the Discord? Are we active in there? The Discord is hugely active. I dip in and out. You know, it's a very, very active place. It's a very confusing place at times. I'll be very, very honest. There are some characters in there. It's fair to say there are some characters in there, and I do indeed dip in and out. And of course, the Discord gives you access for when the new season comes around and we do our preview show. We always get our members and people from the Discord onto the channel to do our previews. And I'll be doing some I'll be doing some membership podcasts as well in the number of weeks to come, looking at the summer, looking at pre-season. Of course, matches getting back underway. We'll be talking about them. So I'm looking forward to doing that. Axel says, Tom, do you believe in the rumors regarding Tchouaméni? I mean, there's certainly, I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal were like monitoring that situation. Would I prefer Lavia, Tchouaméni, or Caicedo? Caicedo, I would prefer. Tchouaméni after that, and then Lavia. I think that makes sense, those three in that order. Let's go to Gooner for NZ. Says, Tom, am I a good man? Have we given up on Ivan Fresneda? The interest remains in Ivan Fresneda. It's there, but Arsenal haven't moved yet. I think that once these three deals are completed, Havertz is done, Rice and Timber are there. Once we've got that done, I think focus, in the window is going to start looking at what's next. And I think right back is potentially something that Arsenal might look to. I think outgoings is going to be a big part of the summer as well. And a lot of focus is going to be now poured into making sure that we get good fees for the players that need to be moved on as well. Lots of stuff is going on. Lots of things are still to come. So let's wait and see if that indeed does end up happening. We're on 499 likes now. I just looked in the chat. 499, so close. I think Stephen may have said that he's going to donate again because he's crazy if we got that. Clive says, Tom, do you think that we can hijack the Caicedo deal? I think we could potentially, if we put the bid in. If we agreed a fee with Brighton, would he come to Arsenal? Maybe he would. So let's see. I don't think we'd do that unless Partey left, though. Very, very difficult to see us doing that. So let's wait and see. And on cue, after hitting 500 likes on today's show live, Stephen, the most generous man in the world, has donated another 50 memberships. Thank you to Stephen once again. When we pull off these big signings, Stephen is very generous indeed, and more of you are welcomed into the TGT family. Thank you to everybody that has done so. I love that Boyce in the chat box, Boyce88, has just literally put 4 Owen emojis, which is fantastic. There are also emojis that you can now use. Some are really old that we haven't used in ages. I think there's one of Mike. I think clearly we've got one of Owen. There's some funny emojis in the chat box that you can use as well. I do need to update them. I always used to promise I'd make this emoji, that emoji. I am going to have to get some more made for the forthcoming season, I think. We're going to have to get some. I'm going to have to get a salt shaker because, taking things with a pinch of salt. I have to get rid of Mainsley, sadly. Ainsley Maitland-Niles no longer at the club, so I'm going to have to get rid of Mainsley. That sucks. Mainsley's going to have to go. We're going to have to replace him. We've got a few trust the processes as well. Get involved. Lee Judges is there. You can use Lee Judges if you like. I haven't seen some of these emojis in so long. Some of them are brilliant. We need to get a Declan Rice one. We need to get a fair few. I look forward to hopefully getting some new emojis into the chat box because they're going to be, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. Rice Baby is absolutely. I'm going to get brainstorming, I think, today, and we'll reach out to some graphic designers. If you're great at making emojis, feel free to get in touch. I'd love to get some people and that already listen to the channel making them. So if you think that you got a good chance of making our emojis, get in touch. I'd love to work with you. So yeah, we'll go for a couple more minutes and then we've got to wrap things up. So a little chili, that'd be great. It's a great idea for Bukayo Saka. Eric says, hi Tom, could we see a combo of Odegaard, Jorginho and Rice in the 8th position? Maybe for some games. Maybe we choose to use Rice and Jorginho. We've got a tougher fixture. That might be the one. That might be the one that we need. We need a Steven emoji. Oh, that's a good idea. I tell you what, in the Discord server, we're going to have a discussion about emojis and what we'd like to see. I think that's the best way to do it. And we'll get some ideas going. Only sensible ones, but within reason. But we'll get brainstorming in the Discord server a little bit later on today, and we'll start coming up with some ideas. But a massive thank you again to Stephen for being so generous once again for a big piece of news regarding Declan Rice's signing. It is massive for the club to get this deal done. I can't wait to see where this transfer window continues to go. I can't wait to see where we take this team next season. I can't wait for the matches to get underway. Of course, next week on the 13th, we are going to be playing against Nuremberg. So we got a week tomorrow, and then Arsenal are back in action, back playing football. I can't wait. I hope you can't wait either. It's going to be a really interesting summer. It's going to be a fantastic season, I'm hoping. And I look forward to spending so much more time with you guys as well. I'll be leaving a brand new link to the Discord server in the community tab on the channel. If you go onto the channel homepage at the top, it says home, videos, playlists, and there is a community tab. I'll be putting a brand new one into the chat, into there as well. Cream, thank you so much for becoming a brand new member as well, supporting the channel too. The support you show the channel is great. We are investing in the channel this season. There's going to be more changes, the more infrastructural. That's not a word. We're going to change the infrastructure a little bit. There's going to be some new look and updates. A new season needs a new kit and all that lovely stuff. So we're going to be doing that. I very much look forward to seeing how you react to it when we get it sorted and finished and finalized. Thank you to everybody joining us today. Thank you again to Stephen for your generosity, and to Louis, of course, as well, for the donation of single membership also. We will see you very soon. I'll be live on the Arsenal Way at 10. And tonight, I haven't even talked about tonight. We will have a guest. I look forward to speaking to our guests. I'll leave that into mystery for now. Just a little teaser. We've got a guest coming on this evening. So I look forward to introducing you to, again, a guest that has been on the channel before. So we've got a show tonight. This is what you need to know. 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock UK time. We will have that for you. So make sure you tune in now. We've got another guest tomorrow as well. We've got double back-to-back, triple evening shows. If you haven't yet watched the Declan Rice tactical breakdown, please do go and watch it. It is a very, very good listen, if I do say so myself. Jacob was fantastic and gave us loads of information about the deal, about the player. So do go and give that a listen. Have a fantastic day. Enjoy yourselves. And as always, up the Arsenal.